Hey, YouTube. Today we're going to be discussing whether the Rex real estate model and a similar one, the Rex real estate discount model, just got banned. Okay, Facebook. We're going to talk today about the Rex real estate discount model for home sellers was just banned by NAR. Let me just review. Let me take down the lower third as I'm learning. It's called. By the way, I'm set up in my workout clothes. It's lunchtime. I just finished my training. My home sellers workshop at winnerscheck.com. I'm going to go to lunch. We're going to do some more training this afternoon. But while I was getting dressed, right after I'd finished that training, I thought about the ramifications of this. Now, the new NAR rule, that's National Association of Realtors, requires properties to be listed on the MLSs when one business day of being marketed to the public. Specifically, the policy states, within one business day of marketing a property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with other MLS participants, which means they must put it on the MLS and offer commissions to the buyer side. Now, a listing agent could double-sided also represent the buyer and get paid twice. But with one business day of marketing, it has to be on the MLS. Now, if you're a discount broker and you analyze it, I've always said in a proper home sequencing, if you sort of know where the price of your home is and you're aware of the trends and you know the max is up here because you figure out where the competition is and you're assuming in general 90-something% of the consumers will be rational and will value this home more than yours, you might have a range. Like for instance, the story I always give is my sister's house in Washington, D.C. We're talking on the phone about it. And she figured her home, some realtors were telling about 900, 915. I did the work on the internet, came up, and using some of my apps that have national data, I came up with that price range too. I said, you're getting good information. And I asked her, what do you think the most you could sell your home for is? She goes, well, I don't know, but I think I saw this house sell for more, and that was better. I go, well, really right now, if people went on the internet, at what point would they start saying that seems like a better home, either because of the schools, the location, traffic, freeway? She was outside of the D.C. area, so traffic's a big deal. Close proximity to the metro stop is a very big deal there. Building in the path of progress. So she said 940, 950, 940 probably is the top, maybe even 930. But she had a very good idea after going through this. Now, when she started talking to realtors and one of her friends somehow got around that friend's office and the top listing agent in the area came to her door, said, hey, we'll do this. You'll only have to pay me half commissions for the listing side, full commission for the buyer side, and we'll sell your home. I think it was 914 or 915. And I was like, Mary Pat, why you have to take that? There's no real upside. There's maybe a few $1,000s, and you're risking a good price. If we go down to your net, you're risking a great price for that. I tell that story all the time. That's the model. So if you don't have a realtor yet, but you know your price is like that, it would make sense to try to sell your home without paying buyer's commissions, without putting it up on the MLS and offering buyer's commissions, full service. You can always offer $100, but that's another story. Without paying buyer's agents on the MLS, you might save 2.5%, 3% right off the top. So if by saving that 2.5% or 3%, you come up with a higher net, it might make sense for you to sell the home without the MLS at first. If you're comfortable and you know where the prices are, or if you've already got offers, or you want to try it for a week or two. That to me is proper home selling sequence. Do your disclosures, go through a property walkthrough, figure out what's wrong with your property, knock out all buyer objections ahead of time. Then price your home. Go maximum selling price, fair market value, listing price. Work out your nets. Work out your disclosures. Figure out how much it might cost to market on your own or with a realtor. Figure out how much the realtors are charging. Work out your net. Make your plan. Follow the plan. Be flexible. If you don't have 10 or 15 people showing up for your first open house, think about putting on the market with a full-service realtor who does great marketing the next weekend. If you do have 10 or 15 people show up for your open house, you should have offers. If you don't, there's interest in your home, but it's either overpriced or there's something wrong with it. You could try again or switch to a full-service realtor. That's sort of the sequential marketing. I go much more into detail with that in consults or in my course, my very, very, very inexpensive course, Less Than Lunch, at the Home Sellers Workshop, to help people get thinking the right way to sell their home in 2020. The most important part right now for that price is that I'm offering people in California software that helps them do their disclosures, and then they can even check with me if they have questions at a ridiculous price. Now, why do I do that? Because I think a large percent will realize that when it comes time to sell their home, they're going to want to work with the best agents in their area. I'll refer them and work out a discount with them, and I'll pass that discount along to the clients, so they'll work with the best at discount prices, increasing their net, increasing their top sale price. It's a no-brainer. But first, I have to start to work with realtors, to refer them to them, to get them interested in working for you, what essentially is at a discount. I have to say you're prepared, I've worked with you, I'm a lawyer and everything else. Again, it's weird for me looking at my workout clothes. Normally I have a shirt on when I'm doing this. Okay, so Rex is that first part. They're that pre-MLS part. You could pay a discount broker, an attorney, whatever, by the hour, probably a lot less than Rex, but you can pay 2% to Rex. Now, the problem with Rex is that in their model, what I've read and from what I've heard, they don't even offer to work with the buyers as a real estate agent. They've got like some sort of coordinator in there. Now, maybe if they work with the buyers, great, but their buyers could no longer be a realtor with their brokerage, right? Unless they're working for free. Because the National Association of Realtors just banned realtors from doing any marketing for more than one day. You can get the home, start your marketing. It's got to be on the MLS the first day. Now, Rex never puts the property on the MLS. So how are they going to have realtors working in their brokerage? They cannot. NAR just destroyed them. They're like, and maybe they don't care, but they're like, you're not going to have realtors. You can be a broker by your state rules, but you're not going to be a realtor. You're not going to have access to the realtor forms, which are massive in California. Most of the properties sell on that. If I'm a lawyer and I'm charging people by the hour to review contracts, and I do, I'm a realtor and a lawyer, I tell them, if it's the realtor contracts, we can get this done in probably an hour. I can go over your questions. I can do it fairly inexpensively. If you're buying a luxury home and it's one of those 2 or 3 pagers, we might need to spend a lot of time going through all the angles why it works for you or not. And if it's somebody else, if you're selling on your home to a quick sale buyer and it's older contracts or different contracts, we're going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to have to probably spend an hour analyzing it, because in real estate, the person drafting, in contracts work, period. What every realtor who's ever drafted contracts knows is that when you're working with your client, you're drafting the contract, you're drafting it to protect the weaknesses without, in real estate, you'd have to do it without hiding material facts. But you're drafting in a way to protect your client and still seem good for the buyer. It takes a lot of thought to work your way through that process. Why did they do this? If this is the normal way, why is this happening? What could they be protecting, hiding? So there's a massive advantage frequently to the person drafting the contracts. There was an advantage. I have older videos, the previous car forms. There was an advantage for home buyers that CAR took out about 5 or 6 years ago. And so some professional buyers were still using the previous contracts. And I would tell people, I saw they'd come in with the old ones. I'm like, okay, what's up? Why? What's the difference between this old one and the new one from a professional buyer standpoint? And I went through it line by line, said there, explained it to the clients. I even think I put it in a video a long time ago. So NAR, basically they're saying they want to knock out coming soon listings. They're knocking out pocket listings, and they're acting like it's consumer friendly. It's kind of weird how they would say it. They're saying it wasn't helping consumers because they weren't getting the benefits of the MLS, sort of implying that you have to have the MLS, and that maybe you couldn't even trust agents to do the right thing for you without the MLS. And so they're now saying all agents have to put stuff on the MLS within 24 hours. I mean, it's crazy. And it has to happen by March 1st. Some realtor associations are already doing it. What they're doing, the backlash of this, I want NAR to know this because I'm not I love CAR. NAR I'm not so big about, but I really like the California Association of Realtors. I think the forms are worth the money. I think that a lot of other programs they have there are worth it. But I think NAR is saying to all the lawyers in the world, now's your chance to help buyers and sellers again at $300 an hour. Most sales take 10 or 20 hours worth of time, so lawyers can do this for $6,000 or less. They can beat that 2% by Rex, who's not going to be a realtor anymore, by a lot, and they can even offer to represent both sides if they have the proper disclosures. They're just opening up the business model wide open for lawyers. As a side thing, while I go to the gym, I'll be thinking about it. I'm going to help lawyers do this now, because it's all about helping the consumers. And if you can help the consumers for better than NARS Align or realtors work for them, or in conjunction For instance, my model's always been, try it this way. If not, if it's not working, if you don't have 15 people in the first weekend, let's go to the MLS. Let me refer you to a top agent in your area. And we'll share the referral fee. You'll get the money back you've already spent if there was an upfront fee, depending on the program you picked. They've just made this business easier for me. They've made it easier for lawyers. The only thing I can't do is drive people to my own websites now and do the marketing. Well, they may have restricted me a little bit. I'm going to have to consult with you and coach you or review stuff. But when you want to go to the MLS, well, that's not even part of my model now. I'll just refer it always out. So the only reason why I would still be a realtor is because I like them, because I think it's worth it to me. Recs and discount brokers are getting their ability to help clients they're getting locked in. They're losing flexibility. They cannot be realtors according to this NAR rule. How's it going to play out? It will be interesting. We'll find out soon. What's this mean for you? I think it means that you have two choices. One, I'm going to a top realtor who's got a great process, and I'd like to negotiate my fees with that realtor, but it's sort of like selling responsibly, the way Fidelity used to advertise invest responsibly. You're like, I want to get top dollar. I'd like to get top net. I want to work with the best. I want to make sure they have a great process. And maybe I even have an advisor like John or an attorney overseeing the matter, just in case. And I want to get that realtor working for me at discount broker prices. Can it be done? Yes. I've referred properties out all over. It's not hard. Realtor to realtor, you could have one realtor as your first opinion, have him refer it out if it's a relative, or her refer it out to him or her, share the referral fee with them. You can do it without, it's pretty easy to accomplish on the HUD. That's the only place I'd want to accomplish it 99% of the time, the closing statement, so that you get the benefits of your deal at closing. The referrer gets the benefits, the pay that they agreed to work with you for at their closing, and the realtor gets paid at their closing, and the buyer gets the house. Very easily accomplished. But what's my takeaway? So you've got one, sell responsibly. Two, if you're willing to do the work, go through the process of doing your disclosures ahead of time. You should even do that. If you're working with me and I refer you out, we do your disclosures ahead of time. For me, the answer always is first thing, do your disclosures ahead of time, do your house walkthrough ahead of time. Compare and contrast with the online pricing data, my pricing data, instanthomeprices.com, that comes from CoreLogic, the number one, I think it's the number one supplier to the banks, because the buyers are probably going to use banks. Banks are going to look at the comps from an appraiser. They're going to check CoreLogic or their favorite pricing algos. They probably check Zillow and Realtor.com. I don't know that for a fact, but they probably do. I know realtors and mortgage bankers do, mortgage brokers do. So you do your walkthrough, you assess your house, you compare and contrast, and you get a price per square foot. You figure out if your price is better or worse. Probably don't need an appraiser most of the time. Maybe you get realtors to give you a CMA. Maybe you don't. That depends on where you are in the process. And then you decide on the sequence of the sale of your home. If you know the prices, if you know the comps, if you know the max likely selling price, you can sort of figure out where your net's going to be. You can make a great decision on how to sell, whether to go on your own or with some help pre-MLS and then go to a realtor for the MLS, or just go straight to the MLS. That's now part of the I sort of wasn't pushing the 7-day home sale method, but now, because of NAR, I have to put it back in there for those of you that want to do it. But for now, go to winnerscheck.com. We're going to start in one of two places. If you think you just want to go to a top realtor, attorney broker oversight, and I help you negotiate a discount, or you owe me nothing, just set up a consult. They're free. I call it a strategy session. It's 20 minutes. I find out what you want to do and how we can help you accomplish it. I tell you how I would do it, what I would expect, whether I'd want a 30% referral fee, whether I think we could get a 50% referral fee or something in between. I talk about how we make sure you get paid a good portion of that fee on the HUD. And then we talk about your goals and what type of realtor personalities you could work with. If you know some great ones in your area already, or family or friends, if you want me to help you select the best ones, maybe give you one or two to talk to, maybe three. Most people, 3 is too much for most people, I found. one or two to talk to, and you pick the best one. We can do it that way. Occasionally, well, relatives have had me just pick it myself and say, here's the person you should work with. I'm not expecting, I don't even know if that's a good business model. I think I should give you a choice. And then we go from there. Or if you're inclined to think, let's say you don't know quite what your property could sell for. If you want to work on this idea, I would like to do something that will get 10, 15, 20 people into my open house. That first weekend, I choose to have my home on the market. I market it well, and I would expect offers to come in, and I want to work with someone who can make buyers feel comfortable, whether it be a lawyer or a realtor who's ready to go on the side. If you think that model's interesting, you can probably save real estate attorney fees. And if you know, and if your house is hard to value, one of a kind, needs work, great views that you want to get top dollar for, it's not necessarily the best model. But if you're in a subdivision, we know the prices of your homes relatively. We can see the trends lately, so we don't make mistakes. Or we minimize the potential for a mistake, then this model also works for you. If you're not sure, we have a consult. I can tell you whether it works. But anyway, that's the point. Maximizing the process for you, minimizing the hassles, maximizing your net, doing it the right way. Basically, I love it. As I showed in the previous video, when I helped my brother decide that even though we had 10 or 15 people at the property, they were offers around 300 and 310 oral offers, which is that's all we need for start. Like I don't need written offers, right? My brother had to trust me, and maybe I need written offers for you, or you would want to be there yourself. But I was like, people are at 300, 310, Matt. That means they're willing to negotiate, maybe up a little more, but they're not going to 350. And I said, these investors who live here and have 4 properties said, take that Zillow offer, because 330 is a lot for this property. And I saw them look up at the exact issues I had, Matt, and that you became aware of after you did your disclosures, not when you first were thinking big money. I was like, take it. So our process is designed to help you make decisions. You may, after you spend the equivalent of lunch for my home seller course, you might say, hey, I want to sell to an iBuyer, a Zillow, a professional buyer. And in there, I have training on how to do that best. And you're going to have those disclosures ready to get a little bit more out of them. Because they're going to, if they evaluate you as credible, they're going to say, well, maybe they've told us everything. I still have to, it's a little fuzzy. I still have to, maybe there's a foundation problem I'm not going to know about till my people come in. So I have to keep that in my business model. But I'm probably not going to find all these other problems because they've told me about some of them. So it really works for everybody. This first step, it's really inexpensive. There's a guarantee with it. You can cancel. It starts off, as of now anyway, I know some people want to go to pricing first, but it starts off the way I learned it should with my brother and reinforced. I already knew. It starts off with the home evaluation. We have like an appraisal download sheet if that's what you want. We have samples of the disclosures if you don't want to fill out, if you don't want to use the software that I think is awesome, that will save 45 minutes to an hour and makes it look really clean. If you just want to do it on your own, you can download the forms, the sample forms, so that they don't have a problem with cars' ideas of what what they should be protecting in the forms. It says sample on them. You can do your home walkthrough. You can start writing it out in hand. Then you can say, okay, I'm ready for the software now, and I'll shoot you over the software. And you can fill it out. You can follow the questions. It comes out beautifully. Then you can follow up with questions with me. And that's the first part of the process. Then we take you into the home pricing workshop. Which I can open up early if people say, please let me see the homework. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But it's set up right now because I think it's important is to see your home as an appraiser, see your home as a buyer before you go through our pricing, pricing your home like a pro part of the workshop. Then that third part, that's really up to you. Do you want to work with us to help you find the best realtor, whether a buyer or seller, whether you're buying or selling or both, and help us? And do you want it? Some people want us to select a realtor, but not negotiate a discount, or if you'd like to see a great realtor working for you, one of the best in the area at discount prices, we can show you how to do that too. That's the third part of the training. And we've always got follow-ups because sometimes 10, 20% of the time, you'll want a second opinion. Like when the buyers come back after inspections, even though you've already given them the disclosure, and they're like, I want $3,000 for this thing. And you're like, but it's only worth $150. What should you do? We talk about those things too. So you can get a second opinion of what your realtor's advising. Based on my experience of selling over 200 homes, and the California Association of Realtors selected me to train realtors on multiple offer negotiations. So I've got some experience. I've thought about this a lot. I've trained people. I've referred people. Thanks. Talk to you later. Winnerscheck.com is where you'll find that. Thanks, John. This is John McConnin, real estate broker and attorney in California. I can refer properties out all over the country. I just can't give you legal advice outside of California.